All right, kindergarten artists, so now we are going to start our very own version of a study of Wheatfield with crows. So we're going to look at where Van Gogh put most of his colors, and we're going to do those areas first. So as you can see, I have paper, I have water, I have a paint set nearby, and I have some brushes. If you only have one brush size, that's fine, okay? So when I look at his painting Wheatfield with crows, we know that this sort of showed he might not have been in the best mood, especially when we compare it to Starry Night. When I look at it, I want to look at all the colors I see, and I want to choose the ones that I see the most first. So I could list colors like blue, black, green, brown, yellow, but I think mostly I see yellow. I think the ground down here is mostly covered in yellow. That would be the wheat field. So that's what I'm going to start with first. So I'm going to get my brush ready. I know I always want to clean it out, so I'm tapping it out. You see me doing that in the bucket. I'm pinching out the extra water to make sure it goes back into the bucket so I don't make a mess. And then I'm going to go ahead and load my brush with this yellow paint here. So I feel like that line where the yellow stops and starts, it's kind of near the middle, but maybe even just a little bit above the middle when I look at Wheatfield with crows. And it's outside, so I don't have to do a perfectly straight line. So I'm going to kind of go back and forth and make it a little bit wavy. Now I'm going to fill in everything underneath that line to be the wheat field. So I'm going to use long, smooth brush strokes so I go back and forth. If you notice, if I start going like this, it's not really covering it as fast. So this looks like my brush, it's a little thirsty, so I'm going to add some more water, add some more paint, and I'm moving it back and forth to fill in everything underneath that line. So I don't want to miss any spots. I have my messy mat down just in case I go off the paper. So all the way from one side to the other. So you're going to do this with your yellow. The other color that I see the most is probably, you guys are probably saying it right now, but the blue in the sky. So I'm going to do that. But I need to pay attention. Does it look like it's light blue? Does it look like it's dark blue? I think it's supposed to be nighttime, so I'm going to lean towards using a dark blue. Now, if I just grab my brush right now, I can see yellow water dripping out of it, so I never want to just grab it and reload it. I'm going to tap it out, pinch out the extra water, and then I'm going to load my next color. So I'm loading it with blue. So what I have to decide when I start putting this on there, well, that looks pretty watery and light, but I want it to seem like it's nighttime, so I've got to decide more water or more paint. It seems like the water is making the paint lighter, so if I load more of this blue on there, and I'm going to move everything so you guys can see my brush loading it with paint, so I'm going to move it around on there to load more paint, and I'm going to try, well, that does make it look darker. So when I use water-based paint like this, the more paint I use, the color comes out darker. The more water I use, it comes out lighter, but I still got to pay attention to what my brush is doing. That looks really scratchy. That means it's thirsty. A little bit of water, but I want the color darker, so a little bit more paint as well. So I'm going to go right down to where the blue would touch the yellow. So I have my Wheatfield part done, and now I have my nighttime sky done. Okay? So you guys will catch up to me, and then I will show you what to do next.